Alrighty, so today I want to do something a little bit different. Something that I've noticed is not really like in abundance on the YouTube scene here, aka I searched it, was a proper review for Dokkan, right? And what I want to do with this video is go over the things that I like about the game, the things that I do not like about the game, and then kind of give you a final verdict on whether or not I think that you should be playing it, or whether you should play it, or you should download it, you should give it a try, and stuff like that. So down below, before we get started, go ahead and let me know one thing that you like about the game, one thing you don't like about the game, and whether or not how long you've been playing it, all those fun things in the comment section below. So let's go ahead and get started with the good, right? What do I like about the game? I think that Dokkan has a really fun sort of progression aspect to it, right? Where you can collect your favorite characters and you can progress your account from, you know, not having anybody or like the first multi that you do all the way up until the fun stuff where, you know, you've unlocked a lot of LRs, you have your favorite characters, your favorite forms, and you're able to kind of compile them all into one sort of account, right? Where the progression aspect of the game is obviously going to be one where you're going to have a great time once you've gotten all your characters and stuff like that, right? And it's a cool kind of progress thing, right? If you think about like your traditional like ultimate team modes, stuff like that, not the most consumer friendly experience, right? But just an example, right? Like when you start at the bottom of the experience and you have a 60 overall team, and then if you play the game year round and, you know, you're active with it and stuff like that, by the end of it, you're going to have hopefully like, you know, a 92, a 93, or even a 99 overall team, right? And you sort of emulate that experience here with Dokkan to a less aggressive degree, right? Another thing that I like about the game is that it is a PvE experience that you do not have to feel forced or rushed to get everything done at once, and you also can play the game at your own pace, right? I think that this is a really important sort of thing that gets overlooked a little bit. So let me just go into some random event and then I'll show you what I mean, right? So if we just hop in here, the beauty of this is this event I could play at my own pace. So with this, right, this isn't supposed to be like a guide explaining literally everything, but with the gameplay right here in specific, what I can do is start this event, and if, you know, something comes up, right, I get a phone call, someone knocks at the door, I gotta put it away because I'm on the bus, right? The beauty of it is I can just put it down. I can pause it, right? This game does not require, you know, full-on attention at all times in order to play it, right? This is something where I can do, I can pause it, I can put it away, and then when I come back, I can just resume it and go back to it, right? So I have freedom of that. It is a turn-based game, so you are not going to go until it is the turn has started, right? So right now, we're in the middle of a turn. But like I said, if something comes up, you get busy, you gotta go eat, you know, all that fun stuff, you can put the game down, you can pause it, you can kill the app, you can lock your phone or whatever, and nothing is going to happen, right? This is a game where you do not need to have your full attention on it at all times. This is a game where you can put it away, and I think that really does help. The accessibility and the ability to kind of come back and play it later is really important because you can do other things while you are playing this game, right? One of the big appeals is, like I said, you can do it on the bus, on the train, at work, right? While you're doing something else, right? You're playing a video game, right? You can just have it on the side, on your desk, and you can just do this, right? So that is one thing that I really do like about the game, that you can just kind of do, you can play it whenever, right? You can do it however you want. And then kind of leading into the next point with that is that you can play it at your own pace, and you don't need to have like an end game, the best account right away in order to enjoy the game, right? I think this game has a really positive experience, even if you don't have the, you know, the best of the best right away, right? This is not a game that is going to be pressuring you into having the greatest characters, the best setups, all of that stuff ready to go right off the bat, because again, it is a PvE experience. It is not something where you're competing against other players. There are really good teams that people are using, but there's no such thing as a meta in this game that is, you know, shaping and evolving from a player to player basis, right? You're not just going to be you're not doing the same one fight over and over and over again, akin to fighting the same team over and over, right? You think about like Sparky Zero ranked, if you're in the high levels, you're probably only fighting Gogeta and Yajirobe, right? But if you're fighting, if you're playing this game, you know, the bosses do change, right? There's hard fights against all of your favorite Dragon Ball characters, right? And that is, I think, something that is really important to sort of remember, right? So you can play it at your own pace. You're not forced to have the best of the best in order to enjoy it. You are not going to get, you're not going to get beat down by experienced veteran players, and it's going to help you sort of progress. And that is something I think that is kind of underappreciated, right? That you don't just need to have a meta team, quote unquote, in order to enjoy this experience. So that is one thing. I think that is really another thing that I like about the game. Let's go ahead and move on to another thing that I like about the game, and that is going to be the quality of the animations within the game, right? So if we just kind of go, like I said, I was just in an event earlier, but what you're going to be able to experience with this game is, like I said, we'll just go right back in. Quality animations from your favorite moments in Dragon Ball, and you're going to be able to collect characters that were according to those favorite moments in Dragon Ball, right? And you're also going to be able to experience fun fights in a turn-based setting while watching these animations and just being able to appreciate moments that the Dragon Ball series has brought forth, right? So this is just an example, right? We'll just use this this team right here. I can't go over every animation in this game. We'd be here all day, but again, you get to see quality animations like the one you're watching on the screen right now pretty frequently, right? This is not like a one-off thing. Now, there are older characters when this game came out 10 years ago, but modern characters and new releases, this is sort of the standard now with the characters, right? Very high-quality animations that look straight out of the anime or straight out of the movies that they came from. And on top of that, there are also going to be character-exclusive moments that come uniquely from the game, right? There is a Vegito Blue sequence in this game that the devs did that is completely original to Dokkan, right? There's probably references from other things in there, but it is a completely, like I said, it is not like a reference from the anime. It's not directly taken from like, a sequence from a movie or something like that. So that is another thing. The quality of animations you're watching on the screen right now, you get to see some really nice sort of Dragon Ball moments and stuff like that. And you get to use your favorite characters and see them do their signature attacks in real time, right? I think it's a really fun experience with that. So there's a lot more positives to this that I can't just like go over every single thing, but the last thing I want to talk about is the sake of collection. If you are a collector, this game is going to appeal to you a decent bit, right? Because you're going to be able to collect your favorite Dragon Ball characters and assemble them in a sort of like RPG-like fashion where you're progressing an account. And that is sort of what I think is really cool about this game, right? Where you can just, collect and assemble your favorite teams based on characters that you like. And the game, it goes from, it covers like, there's just about every single moment in Dragon Ball has some form of representation in this game, right? We talk about OG Dragon Ball, there's stuff from all the way from the beginning, right? From, the origins of Goku all the way to the Demon King Piccolo fight, right? Or the Piccolo Jr. fight. We go in Dragon Ball Z all the way from when Raditz takes Gohan all the way until Oob is a thing, right? The end of Z. And now, I think there's like only one character for like end of Z Goku where he's in like the blue gi, right? But I think it is it's pretty cool, right? Like every single moment that you could think of with Dragon Ball, and if it's not in the game, it's probably coming, right? It is represented in this game, and you're going to be able to collect characters from all of those moments and really relive your experience as a fan. I think is really going to come to full fruition when you do play this game, right? So the last thing for the positives that I want to talk about in this specific video, I'll just kind of play this fight as I'm talking about it because it's going to sort of tie into that point, right? You're going to be able to have difficult and engaging fights when you have like that you're going to be able to test your obtained characters in, right? So right now I'm using a team that is consistently focusing on characters, majority except for Beast Gohan, but characters that are focusing on the Universe 7 or the Tournament of Power, right? So the Tournament of Power I like a lot, and what I'm able to do is take Tournament of Power characters and use them in a difficult and engaging setting here against a boss that's going to hit pretty hard, is going to be able to potentially do damage, and it's a fight that I'm going to feel satisfaction and, it's going to feel like, it's a good feeling when you win this, right? I'll feel rewarded if I end up beating this difficult boss without using, support items and having to do all these other things, and you can just be like, wow, this team that I collected is really, really good, right? And so that's a good feeling to have when you're playing this game. I think it's rewarding, and you're just going to have a overall positive experience when you are doing these difficult content fights. It's tough to get there and have teams that are assembled and properly equipped to deal with these fights, but again, that is kind of tying into another point that I brought up earlier, where that is going to be the reward, like the progression, right? You're just going to, like, when you have a team that is like of quality like this, you're going to be able to, feel like, damn, I progressed all the way up here and I did this by grinding, and, it'll just be a good feeling when you progress your account to that point where you're able to take out these fights pretty easily. So that is one thing. The last kind of thing that I want to talk about for the positives, there is a ton more, but I think for the sake of this review and whether or not you want to play the game, I think that is where I need to stop talking about the positives. Now, the negatives, right? There are a few negatives with this game, and I think a review I need to be fair about, right? And what the game offers positively and what the game offers negatively. I think the big thing that is like a downside to this game is that you do have to summon for these characters, right? And it's when you do have to summon, I can understand the frustrating aspect of that, but I will also counter that and say that one of the things that works out well is that there is a lot of free like currency that you could use to summon for the characters, especially when you are just starting out. There's going to be an abundance of resources at your disposal that you're going to be able to summon and collect the characters that you like, right? It's really only when you get to the end game and you've been playing for, basically multiple years where you're really going to feel a lesser ability to obtain the stones, right? Stones are the currency for summoning, right? So dragon stones, that's, I guess I could have mentioned that earlier, but again, this isn't supposed to be like a, like an in-depth thing on gameplay. But like I said, that is a downside that, you do have to summon in order to obtain most of these characters, right? But now, the way that the game is working, there is now a pity system in the game, if you are familiar with how gacha games work, and that is kind of a step in the right direction. So if you really like a character and you really want to obtain them, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you will be able to obtain the character if you summon enough. So that is a negative, right? It can be frustrating, right? So this is a game designed to like incentivize you to spend money. You think about the Ultimate Team modes. The beauty, this game is a little bit, to me, it's a little bit different from an Ultimate Team mode, though, because it doesn't reset every year. Like, your account is your account until the game is over, right? This is not like a game that resets every year. You go from the process of 60 at the same set month every year, right? So keep that in mind, right? That collecting, it can be annoying, right? And another thing that I don't like about the game is a lot of the times they introduce new mechanics and then they kind of just like let them be for a bit. Now, this hasn't been the case in like the last couple months. Like, they've been introducing new mechanics and getting them a lot, but sometimes they'll just release a new mechanic that is just a complete whiff, and it's not like the most fun thing to deal with. A lot of times they can have overlap with each other, and it can be very frustrating, right? An example of this is going to be a domain. Now, what a domain is an effect that changes the background of the fight. So you guys just saw we were fighting Super Saiyan Goku from the Broly movie in the event that we were just in, right? And with that, we had to deal, what would happen is if I used a certain domain, we would no longer, quote unquote, be in the Broly movie. We would be, the background would change to, we had UI Goku on the team, so it would go to a Tournament of Power domain, right? Because that character in specific has that effect. And with the domain, one of the issues is like a lot of times they would overlap with each other and you can't use them all at once. And this is just an example of them trying to implement a new mechanic that kind of just feels kind of pointless. And then, we'll go a really long time in between without another character getting a new effect, right? So that can be frustrating at times. And the gameplay itself, I think this is kind of just transitioning into the next point, is not the most engaging, right? When you talk about like a game that's going to get your full-on attention, like if you want to prove that you're better than other people and you want to prove that you're really good at the game, I don't think this is really a game that's going to do that for you, right? This is not a experience where you're going to be like, I'm the best at this game. Here's the leaderboard to prove it. Here's me winning in a 1v1 against the other good player for me to prove this, right? This is a game that is, like I said, a single player experience. And a lot of the times what you want to do is create different situations to show or to provide you a secondary difficulty if you want to prove that, like, this team is really good or this character is really good, right? The way that the system of the game works is more of unit or character performance over player performance, because there is a lot of RNG factors that are involved in the gameplay, right? the enemy could do a big attack that is like plays an animation of their own, known as a super attack, right? And most of the time, these super attacks, especially in the modern day, are doing a ton of damage that just a vast majority of the characters in the game just cannot deal with. And if that super happens to hit a character that is in a spot where they will not be able to live, if they do take it, that will obviously end up ruining your run and you'll end up losing. But a lot of the times, if you put that like character in the third slot, you guys saw there were 3 characters on the screen. If you put that character in the third slot and it's one attack that on that spot and it happens to be a super that takes you out, that's not really your fault because you put that character in the safest spot where there was only one attack. And if it just happens to be a super attack, then, you know, you just lost the fight because of an unlucky aspect, right? There's RNG elements to this game that make the gameplay engaging, but it's also not going to be a game that's going to reward you if you were looking for a skill-based experience that takes hand-eye coordination and your full-on attention at all times. This is more of a casual game that you can play at the desk, on the bus, on the train, right? We've talked about this while you're walking, and you can put it away, and if you need to do something, you can come back and do it later. So those are most of the things that I wanted to talk about in terms of like 4 essentials of what you need to know if you want to play Dokkan in 2024. Let me know down below. Well, before we do the outro, let me give you my final thoughts, right? Do I think you should play this game? If you are a Dragon Ball fan, absolutely. This is a free game that you can give a spin, see how you like it, maybe play it for a week, see how you like it, and if you're just like, this gameplay does nothing for me, I don't care about collecting these characters, then the game is probably not for you. But if you're someone that does buy in, I think that you will have a good experience, and this game will feel very rewarding because, again, a game like this being available to mobile and being free to play, I think is a really fun experience, considering it kind of has like an RPG sort of element to it with the account progression, right? And so I think that is really fun. Like, it's fun, right? I think it's a good time. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, I think you'll enjoy this game. But again, the slow gameplay experience, I can understand, may not be for everybody. So there you go. Do I think you should play the game? Yes. Is it worth your time? I think so. And if you need help with anything, feel free to check out other videos on the channel because I have guides that are updated and we'll be able to get you started with the experience as soon as possible. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new, so that way you don't miss out on any of the Dokkan content that we post. If you are new to the game, I wish you luck, and like I said, stay tuned here because I'll be helping you along the way. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.